The very thing to do is to connect to GitHub and search for Chroma. Click on this result, and once inside of the repository, use the option to fork it. Later, you will see the option to sync this fork with a message that this branch is out of date and with a button to update the branch. Clicking on the button is going to retrieve all these changes into your forked repository, and then in render.com you can trigger a deployment with the latest commit. That's how you practically will be able to update Chroma in render.com. Next step is to navigate to render.com, create an account if you don't have one, and log in with your credentials. To start the process, go to Add New Web Service. You will be asked to connect a Git provider, and you'll see a list of providers. For the sake of this example, we are going to use GitHub. Once the connection has been established, select the Chroma repository. Keep the name as it is. The language has to be Docker. Next, select the region which is closer to you or to your clients. Then you can use the free version of render.com, which will allow you to follow up this tutorial. However, there is a catch. The free version will allow you to follow this tutorial. Everything should be fine. But if later you'd like to preserve information in Chroma or any changes that you have done to it, they might be lost when the nodes are going to be restarted. That's why I recommend a starter pack if you are willing to pay. And then we have to make a few adjustments here. We need to add a few environment variables. One of them is going to be this one. This has to be done. Otherwise, Chroma is going to point to localhost. Then we are going to set Chroma host port to 10,000, 10,000 being the port which is default to render.com. It's automatic, non-configurable, assigned by default. Then we need one environment variable called persist directory with a value of chroma/chroma. What happens if you don't mention persist directory into the environment variables? If you mount the disk but don't set this one, Chroma will use its default in-memory or temp storage path. It will not persist anything across restarts, and it will ignore the mounted volume. This means that render will start your application and it will seem like everything is working fine, but any data written will be erased on redeploy or restart. You are going to lose your collections, documents, and embeddings. So in this case, go to Advanced section, select a disk, mount a path, in this case our Chroma directory. Then a size of 1 GB should be enough for this tutorial. For the health check, we want to use API/v1/heartbeat. Then keep everything as it is and click on Deploy the web service. It will take a while for this deployment to be concluded, around 15-20 minutes in my case. During the deployment phase, you might encounter this error, which can be solved in a few ways. I'm going to show you one of them to make the deployment running. And feel free to find your own way and a cleaner way during your trial and error phase. Please post a comment with your solution to help the community. What you need to do in this case is to clone the repository from GitHub. So open your terminal, navigate to the location where you'd like to clone this repository, go to GitHub and copy the address to clone. And run the command git clone. Once this is complete, open this directory in Visual Studio Code or the IDE of your preference, find the Dockerfile, and copy-paste the code in the description right after this line. Then save the file and push the changes back on GitHub. The issue happens due to missing dependencies, and the solution is to retrieve them during the installation process. After 15 minutes or so, the deployment should be successfully done, and then you can access this address mentioned here. Add at the end of it API v1 heartbeat, and this is how you will check your connection to the database. So these are the steps to follow to have Chroma database running in render.com. I hope this tutorial is going to help in your future projects. Thank you for watching.